us. I'd like you to introduce you to our guests. We have MJ Rogers, a very experienced adaptive archer who's been instrumental in introducing new athletes to the sport, including one of our other guests, Nitra Turner. MJ will share insights on teaching and equipment setups, while Nitra will tell us a little bit about her own journey getting started in archery and where it's taken her. I also see Keelan Zainan, who does archery on a weekly basis. Thanks, Keelan, for joining us. And both these very experienced adaptive archers have tons of insights and knowledge to share. Take advantage of their resources. And lastly, I'd like to shout out Michaela Rososky, who one of our KBF athletes, David Weiselman, asked to join. So thank you, Dave. Michaela is a competitive firearms shooter who's been featured on the
Mhm.
cover of Armed Lifestyles Lifestyle magazine and brings a great perspective on precision shooting, crossover skills, and what it takes to compete at a very high level. So tonight we'll be talking about shooting positions, release methods, adaptive equipment options, as well as tips for anyone looking to get started or tackle their skills, take their skills further. So we'll kick things off with some questions for our guests and then open it up for some audience Q&A towards the end. Um, but I'd love to kind of start out by just asking maybe how our guests have gotten first started and introduced to their sport. Um, NJ, could you start us off and just well maybe where you currently are and then how you got into the sport and um, how you got into coaching.
Sure, absolutely. Happy to. And that great opportunity. I've read and known and have signed up in the Kelly Brush uh, website. It's a great resource in such a variety of sport activities. It is one of the premier, certainly in the nation. I started archery many years ago. I did the Boy Scout thing, and I did arrow shooting in a variety of ways. And over a period of time, the hobby morphed to a bit of a passion. I was a competitor, and in that competitive mode, if I'd have known then what I know now, I'd have been pretty good. But ultimately, the passion moved to a bit of a vocation. I started coaching professionally a little over 30 years ago, and have been involved at various levels. I have worked trade shows for a number of events. In fact, next week I'm part of the field crew for USA Archery Outdoor Nationals. And so, anyway, I'll be setting up targets and moving stuff around and that type of stuff, as well as just interacting with the athletes. And that's more or less how the transition from what is sometimes referred to as able-bodied to the adaptive side of it is during the setups. I part of the logistics of getting to and from a parking lot or onto a sod field or wherever. I was part of making the athletes get to where they needed to be, and they were just that. They were just athletes. I never saw them as somebody in a chair or an amputee or whatever the case may be that looked like a disability to many people. And the reality is that they, in many ways, can do things I can't do. And so the learning for me was to just interact and be willing to, more or less as a coach, live outside the box, recognize things that could be done to make their transition into shooting sport just that much easier and short circuit by what I had seen. And I have a library of photographs uh, of equipment from, oh my gosh, all over the world. And now I'll share some of those in a little bit, from mouth tabs to prosthetic adapters to various handholds for quads so that they can support a bow, and visually impaired, and just more or less the gamut. And the reality is, in all of the presentations that I've been able to do, I will ask the organizer to bring in somebody that has never shot a bow before. So those coaches, those instructors that are there get to see first time. And that experience has been just across the gamut, from a young lady in Chile that was severe CP. And we shot bows and arrows. And one in Mexico City, there were 5-on-5 visually impaired soccer players, and they learned how to shoot a bow. And so it's just a matter of being willing to uh, uh, adapt to a great degree their world to what you know as far as equipment. Anyway, I've been pretty blessed to be able to participate at four games. Paris was my fourth Paralympic Games, and so I have done quite a bit in the realm of adaptive archery. And the reality is, everybody that buys a bow has to have it adapted. It's got to be fit to them. It's got to be draw length. It's got to be poundage. It's all of those things. And so the misnomer that you have to adapt, or it's adaptive archery, is just a reality.
Thank you, MJ. I appreciate that. And I'd love to hear more about how you introduced Nitra to the sport. But Nitra, hey, how are you? Good to see you. Um,
Hey,
Turn it over to you. And yeah, when you got started in the
yes.
sport.
Thanks for having me, Diane. As you know, I fell in love with archery a few years ago. I actually got introduced to it at a Triumph event. Triumph is a nonprofit foundation in Los Angeles. And I met MJ there. MJ was putting on archery clinic, and I couldn't play any other sport. Like I couldn't play basketball, I couldn't play football, and I've been injured for 21 years now, so I never did anything. So I just tried out shooting archery, and then MJ had me on target like my second arrow. Like I was popping the balloon, so I fell in love ever since then. And then MJ helped me get a bow like the next year, and I just kept shooting and shooting. And whenever I needed MJ to give me advice or lead me in the way to go, he was always there. Um, and I mean, MJ is just amazing. I've done clinics with him since then with Triumph, and I've seen him have anyone shoot. Like absolutely anybody can shoot archery, and I think it's just an amazing sport that I didn't know that was adaptive, and I didn't know I needed as part of my life. I've been classified now. This year, I'm going to get internationally classified, and I'm hoping I can participate in the LA 2028 Olympics. So I mean, it's something I never knew I needed in my life, and I'm so, so happy that I got involved. And I'm forever in debt to MJ for putting that ball in my hand the first time.
Oh. So it sounds like people need me to go to California to go to that clinic or Triumph with the clinic
Triumph
or
Foundation, yeah. The
others.
The Wheelchair Sports Festival is every year in April, the last weekend of April.
Amazing.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for being here.
you're
Um,
welcome.
and Keelan, I'd love to pass it off to you too, and how you got, I know you're be safe.
So I started archery when I was like 12 years old because I grew up hunting. Um, then I
In a
got,
quarter of a mile,
hold on one
turn right
second.
on State Route 70, River Road.
Eh,
Oh,
Uh,
Keelan.
then
If
I,
you need to also come back to, we can also come
I
back.
know. I'm like now I'm getting a little nervous. Be
No,
safe.
no, Keelan's driving like 18 hours a day. He's more normal driving than anything. He's good.
All right.
uh, I just pulled into a parking spot. So,
Okay, good, good, good.
um, let's see. Uh, then I got into my car accident, put me in a chair at 27. So, uh, VA through said they were doing archery and took us out in chairs and everything. And I was like, started thinking about all the logistics of pulling a bow back. And I was like, can't do that in a chair because you have the wheel in the way. It's just not, it's out of the question. But I'll go see what's going on. And I tried shooting a bow from the chair, and I don't think it's any different. Uh, and then I found out about an archery place down by me that has regular archery. And I showed up and I've been shooting with them now. They do an open night on Monday night for locals. So I go every Monday and bring my bow and shoot with them.
Amazing. Good for you. Good for you. Thanks for pulling over for us. Appreciate that. Um, but thank you. And I don't know, the sport can bring so much, and I know it's like I didn't really think um it was possible to do in the chair. And then I also went to a clinic and realized how like many how possible it is, and then how many adaptations there are out there that are well beyond, what I ever thought. So it's really amazing. Um,
I
I
just saw you 2 or 3 days ago and I was asking you about that one adaptation. It's called a draw lock. It takes
yeah.
a regular compound bow and turns it into basically a crossbow. It's just a trigger release
Okay.
for
Oh, you found out the
standard.
good.
So I am looking to find out at the archery club I go to, they say they will not allow crossbows because they ruin targets. But I'm curious if they would be okay with a draw lock because it's just a regular bow turned on its side with a trigger release. So it's an adaptation that changes a compound bow, not doesn't change the effect of firing the arrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. MJ, do you have any insight into that?
Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. The only would be possibly a space requirement, and they do make the draw lock that will allow the bow to be vertical as opposed to horizontal as well. But yeah, it's a really cool adaptation. It's not legal in competition, but for general use, absolutely. No reason not to investigate. And I have a photo of I helped out the Fish and Game Department in Texas a few years back, and they have one for when they do their outreach programs and for youngsters that are pretty limited as far as function. And they use a similar device, but it will keep the bow in a vertical attitude so that, again, if space is limited, it doesn't interfere with anybody.
Um, Do you have a, can you share your screen with us and show us that?
It's not in the group that I downloaded for this.
Oh, okay.
I I have
No
a
worries.
a large stack that I've downloaded thus far, and many more. But absolutely, I will in the next 24 hours. I'll send you that photo so that
Okay.
you can see what it looks like.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Um, what are some, or for this discussion, what are some pictures that you have that you're able to share with us?
But I have a bit of a mix of, and often I see in the adaptive realm that one of the first things that often happens is a mouth tab. Uh, and it's an easy fix for somebody that has either limited function or an amputee or stroke or whatever the case. So anyway, I have some photos of tabs. And let's see, can I show my screen here?
Yeah, I can give you privileges. I think I can.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That,
Are you able
that,
to, Diane, or do you want me
Yeah,
to?
I just did. Yep.
and what happens often, and it's okay at the outset, but as the issue becomes that in most cases the mouth tab is too large. They think that they have to bite down and gather a whole piece of material, and the reality is because it is so large, it really is detrimental to any sort of accuracy. And so it almost creates as much frustration as it does success. So the thought is pick a material, and those materials vary. Some like a flat material, and the reality of one of the best pieces out there is a cat leash, just a ordinary off the shelf Walmart, Target, wherever cat leash material, and it is flat, so it fits into the mouth position relatively easy, and it's just sewn around the string so that it's nothing that fall apart or anything like that. The other item that is very prevalent is climbing rope, either 3 or 4 millimeter climbing rope. And similarly, it's wrapped around the string, and either and the suturing material or the thread is fishing line, because not only the climbing rope is abrasive resistant, it's also moisture resistant, and then the fishing line is very abrasive resistant. So the utilization of just off the shelf things, not trying to make something super durable, because it does have a wear factor to it, and then sometimes has to be replaced on the fly or whatever. But again, let's see if I can do some photos here. Here we go.
And also, if anyone has any questions as we go along, please either you
Oh,
can shout
yeah,
them out or raise your hand, or you can always put them in the chat.
absolutely. See if I can. I have a mouse that wants to really bounce around here.
Well, I was just gonna mention that I see my archery mentor on here. Damon is on here. He's taught me so much of how to get classified, how to get internationally classified. He's a wealth of knowledge as well. Has been vital in my whole journey. So if he would share his journey, I think that that'd be something worth hearing.
Please, absolutely, Damon. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, Absolutely. He's a pretty cool dude. He actually was my Uber driver several times with the group in at Triumph. Much appreciated that way. And anybody that is so-called normal, just get in a car with somebody that is doing it with hand controls and just close your eyes because it's going to be an experience. Okay. Oh, I have such. I want it to show me what I want to see.
David in the chat is asking, he is a C7 quad. So he's paralyzed from the chest down. Is there a chest strap or brace to give me stability in the trunk?
Absolutely. Uh, perfect timing. So you want the brace to support you in the chair or to provide a mechanism for shooting?
So I have stability. Like otherwise, I'll just tip over with the arrow, the whole bow and arrow. Like before, before I got hurt, I would, I'd be solid in my core and I could pull the bow back. But right now, I would just collapse forward and my aim would be completely off. I'd probably kill people.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
And so to that end, there is a strap system available to that you can. It's like a three position harness that will. It's a cross strap as well as something that looks like a seat belt. But crisscross strap, absolutely. No reason not to. In fact, you are absolutely right in that fact of stability is a critical factor with being able because you're going to hang 5, 6, 7 pounds of weight out over your wheel, and the stability is a critical piece of that.
Yeah, like I have really strong arms. I think I could pull a bow back, but to be honest, before I got hurt, I wasn't really good either. So, but I didn't really spend too much time at it. I think because it wasn't really my strong point. But now that I'm hurt, I want to try everything, and it's the only thing that's prevented me from trying it is I just without knowing what to use, it just seems kind of futile.
Yeah. Tell me again where the SCI is.
I'm a C7, so I'm the chest.
Okay.
I'm not getting some trunk back. But
MJ,
enough to be,
I can
Dane.
speak up on that one.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's a good question for you.
All right.
And I have the same
From
same question for Elizabeth later about shooting because I haven't, that when she comes on, I have questions for her too about same thing.
It's
That's been kind of
Michaela.
keeping me, Michaela, sorry. What did I call you?
Elizabeth, but that's the middle name.
Oh
You're
yeah, I
thinking of
know.
the
So I've been with
Inst-
this girl Elizabeth all day up here.
the Instagram handle is what
Yeah,
you're thinking
sorry.
of.
I apologize. I know your name. But yeah, so that's another question for her when she speaks.
Well, I guess let me first introduce myself. I am a 2015 and 2024 Kelly Brush grant recipient. So thank you, Kelly Brush. I also shoot archery. I am a W1, classified as a W1 nationally and internationally. I am a C7 quadriplegic. So I'm with you, David. If you were to check out my Instagram, or I can send information to you. Uh, with as MJ was pointing out to you, there is a strap that I use that I actually got from Jason Trabansky, the 2024
or go.
Paralympian gold medalist. I got from him. So
Nice.
he has everybody part of the archery community. They all join in and help. So um, I also had that issue or still have it. I have a weight belt that I have that I strap on that have the latches. I'll put that around my stomach for the core, and then I use the 3-point strap to help keep straightening myself up. And then
Yes.
that's when you'll be able to have that stability that you want. And so then that way you're in the right position to hold and draw your bow. I've been doing archery. I don't want to say suckered in, but I got motivated and pulled in or recruited through Kevin Mathers. He's a 2022 um, Paralympian gold medalist. So I've been hanging around some good guys, some good people, and of course I know MJ. MJ, I'll see you next week at Target Nationals. Just make sure
MJ
my
also coached
target.
Kevin.
Just make sure my target is a little closer for me.
Yeah, exactly. Count on that.
um,
And probably a little bigger wouldn't hurt as all.
yes,
Right.
sir. That too. Well, I am like I said, classified W1. So David, you probably would be hanging out with the W1s over here. Uh I shoot a compound bow, but I it is set up to shoot I'm sorry, yes, it is set up to shoot the same arrows as a regular compound, but our limitations on that is a 45-pound limit to keep everything even. And there's also, we don't use the magnification. We use to aim, we use a recurve sighting device, aperture. So that makes things a little bit more interesting when you're trying to figure out how to shoot. uh, like I said, I've been doing this this is my third year, and I've been fortunate enough, like I said, to get help with Kelly Brush has helped me, and also CAF. I'm also a Triumph Foundation ambassador. Been doing that for maybe about 10 years. Also, um, even though it says, we've been saying that everybody is getting introduced to archery in California, there are many of other nonprofits that's out there where people can go ahead and sign up. Move United has been, I've seen how they have grown, and they are instrumental in getting people into archery, not just for the veterans, but also younger individuals. I got hurt from a car accident when I was 14. This was back in 1992. I didn't have we at that time there was not all these nonprofits and organizations that helped with and pushed adaptive sports. So I've seen from how little it was to now is, I'm not going to say saturated, but we have a lot of options and things to do, and opportunity now to where we can stay active and be active and do all the things that we want to do or that we used to do. So if you have
Or that we thought we couldn't do.
any questions or anything, feel free to send me a message or whatever the case may be, and I'll help you in any way I can.
Thanks,
If
Damon. Fellow
He really will.
C7s, man, we got to stick together.
yes, sir.
I
Yes,
got your
sir.
Instagram from Diane, so I'll definitely be reaching out to you. Thank you, man.
Okay.
We're like
Anytime.
family. All C7s are family.
I have a question.
Yeah, Kat, go ahead.
I'm Kat. Thanks everybody for this. I just found you. I mean, I knew about Kelly Brush, but I just found this particular thing a few days ago. So I'm excited to kind of come to these and check this out. My 12-year-old, she just turned 12, year old daughter is about 8 months into her injury, and she had a spinal cord stroke at 11 in December, and she's a TA para, and we also live in a really small community in Vermont. And so we're finding it's really, I mean, the barriers to just basic access, let alone this,
Sure.
So we're trying, and we've got a good team of people, but it's we find a lot of times anyway. I'll go on and on for hours, but I'm really happy to be here tonight, and thank you guys for making this happen. So somebody who hasn't really done archery, she's 12. We do have like a local fish and game. I could probably reach out. I'm gonna just go out on a limb here and say they probably don't have many, if any, people who are doing adaptive archery.
Not likely.
Yeah, and like we have family members who are into archery, but never adaptive. So, how would I, instead of running out and buying all this stuff, not that we could, but you know what I mean, like or whatever, how would I get her to try this kind of thing? Especially with archery, when the bow has to be like you said, adapted no matter what your ability to the person specifically, right? I mean, do you have any ideas how I would go about getting her to just try it?
Well, after I did my first clinic with MJ, he basically told me to go to the archery range that was near my house. And so I just went to the archery range here, and they were able to help me shoot. You said she's a T8, so she may not have any like issues with her hands. Like, I don't need any adaptive equipment to actually shoot the bow. I use a strap to stay strapped in because of my core. Yep. But because my hands, I don't need any actual adaptive equipment to shoot the bow. So she should be able to go and actually shoot a bow at an archery range.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you very much.
I'm up in Vermont, by the way. Reach out to me.
You what?
I'm up in Vermont right now. Reach out to me, Kat.
Oh yeah,
Kelly Brush is like in Vermont. Like you're in the right place.
Yeah, I thought maybe. So okay, I'll shoot you my number privately, David.
Sounds
you just
good.
text
Thanks.
or whatever.
Yeah, you can go kayaking with me or your daughter, and you guys come on up.
Yeah.
I'll just announce one more thing. I don't know if you missed it at the beginning of the call, but I just put in the link as well. On the Active project, there's the member map, which you can find other programs near you. You can find other people near you. And as David said, there's a really strong community in Burlington, Vermont, but also just in Vermont in general. So if you ever want to connect with anyone in that area or have any resources with that.
Yeah, I'm going to sign up as soon as we're done here. I had just kind of quickly checked out the site and
all good
before this happened. And I'm like, it's just the sea of information out there it's amazing. It's wonderful, but it's can be a lot, and it's like, where do we connect with people? And I think that's her biggest thing right now is she's feeling really, we both are for different reasons, feeling a little bit alone in this because we don't have, our community just doesn't really have people in this demographic that she can relate to, especially people closer to her age. It's really,
one other thing I wanted to announce was the KBF scholarships also give $500 to go try something if you can read over the eligibility requirements. But
great, thank you.
So depending on where, like travel fees or program fees or anything like that, to help kind of get involved in a sport for the first time. So I'll drop those things, but listen to the pros on the call for all.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I just put my email in the chat, and you're absolutely welcome to reach out. Again, and as Damon said, Move United, their affiliates, archery is either number 1, 2, or 3 sport that they're involved with. And I've done their conferences for the last few years in talking with their groups or their directors about the side of adaptive archery. And several years ago, they were instrumental in getting a manual written, and it's been through several iterations. In fact, on the Move United, and as Damon said, it's a family. So the crossover between Kelly Brush and Move United, I think, is instrumental. But on the Move United website, the manual is downloadable. and so you can see some pictures of youngsters that are shooting. And again, if you send me an email, I've got so many. I just a little over a year ago, I was in Colombia, South America, in Medellin, and they had youngsters from 7 to 17, almost 40 at a clinic that I did, and I'm going back to Bogota again in October, and work with the under 21, and kids of all shapes, sizes, abilities were shooting bows, and just they were just being kids doing sport.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Do you have something you want to share?
I have a question. Earlier, someone mentioned that there's a 45-pound limit, and I was wondering, is that the upper or the lower limit?
That's the as Damon talked, the quad, more or less, in World Archery or USA Archery is classified as a W1, and the W1 is modeled after shooting a recurve bow. So the 45-pound is a maximum draw weight, and even though they're using a compound bow, their limitations are no magnification, no peep sight, and they can shoot with a release aid. And it's again, it's made to balance across the board for those that are in that stead with that high of an injury, and otherwise, in essence, just briefly, in USA Archery and World Archery, the classifications, and that's another hurdle if for those that want to get involved in the competitive side, is for them to shoot at any of the ranked event or national events within USA Archery. To shoot as a para, you have to have a classification, so that the officials can look at your card and say, okay, you get to use a stool, or okay, you have a trigger release that's operated by a clothespin, or any of those items that are allowable. And the W1 is the most restrictive in that 45-pound limit and recurve adaptations. Otherwise, the open compound, either men and women, have a maximum draw weight of 60 pounds, and then there is the open recurve. And again, it's all the bells and whistles for a recurve bow, sights and tabs and clickers and all that stuff as well. And a lot of this too is explained in the adaptive manual. It gives you a bit of a resource to the competitive side. And the fact of the matter is that 70% of the people that I interact with will never classify. And I don't care. I just want them allowed to be able to shoot a bow. And so that's the deal, is whatever if you want to hunt hay bales in your backyard, sign me up. If you want to go to the Paralympic Games, let's do that too, or whatever the case may be. And that's when I do the presentations, that's one of the things I focus on, is for those coaches that are coming from somebody that is deemed normal. They get to learn. They get to learn about, how do I stay stable in a wheelchair? Or how do I get around the obstacles that are day to day? And so it's a learning environment for me, and has been for very, very many years.
Thank you, MJ. I also wanted to share that I know you just met David Bumer at a Move United conference in Utah, and he shared that they are building adaptive programs in Louisville, Kentucky. Adapt Lou in Louisville Lightning, and they have a lot of different programs, are building adaptive archery programs and already have multiple other sports as well as women's basketball. So I'm going to throw their Instagram on the chat too, for you guys all to check out. And if you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, you can go check them out personally. Um, I, I don't know if David, if you're still on the call or would like to say anything, don't have to.
I think with time, I'd
Hey
love to
guys.
hear from, or, oh, there you are, David. Yeah, perfect.
No, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully I can connect with you guys. And MJ is a phenomenal resource, as you guys all already know. Well, thanks for putting this call together, guys.
Yeah, thanks for
Thanks for
coming.
joining.
And yes, I'd love to now pass it off. I know we're getting close, but Michaela, thanks so much for joining us. And yes, who has been on the cover of the Armed Lifestyle magazine, so very experienced. Could you share a little bit about your story and how you got into competitive firearm shooting?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you, David, for inviting me. I was aware of Kelly Brush, but not about these meetings until he shot me a message a couple hours ago and was like, join this. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm Michaela Rososky. I got into shooting will be 3 years ago in October. And I initially just wanted to start and learn for, personal protection reasons. Then it was fun and empowering, and just something I kind of dove more into. And then coming up on 2 years competing. So it's been really interesting hearing from all the Paralympians that are here on this chat, because what I do doesn't exist in the Olympics or Paralympics. So I compete in practical shooting competitions, and primarily with USPSA and sometimes PCSL. If people don't know the organizations, you can probably look them up and find a good amount of information. I just competed in my second major, the Area 7 Championship, which was a level 3 match. And I'm also recently obtained instructor certification, because I kind of had to explore so much of this on my own when I started, in terms of just, like, I had a really great instructor to begin with, but in terms of the adaptive stuff, like, I had to figure it out as I went, with myself. And same thing with competing. Once I kind of went with everybody able-bodied, I compete. I'm usually the only person that's in a wheelchair with what I do. So it's just kind of putting myself out there and having fun with it.
Thanks so much, Michaela. Um, and how do you, I guess, or what adaptive techniques or equipment do you use in your shooting?
So for pistol, I pretty much, like, you can, it's one of those things. MJ made a comment, like, no matter what with the bow, you're going to end up customizing it. It's kind of the same with firearms. There's, you can buy something factory, but you're going to find things that you can add to it. And you might want to add a compensator to reduce your muzzle management and recoil. You can add a magazine weld to make, inserting the magazine quicker and easier. You can change out the weight of your trigger pull to make it, you don't have to do as much strength. That also plays into being more proficient for competition. So in general, regardless of disability, people like kind of more of a light trigger pull. So specific to the gun, it's more so just been figuring out what works there. For rifles, you can do like a bipod or a tripod, so you don't have to hold it. That's something I struggle with. They're heavy, right? But you can't always do, like, you can do precision shooting that way, but more action shooting, you kind of need to have the maneuverability. For pistol, also for like holsters, I have, whether I'm in my manual chair or power chair, I have stuff I mount onto the chair. And that way I reholster between moving positions because we have a variety of targets we'll engage. And basically you know moving from point A to point B without breaking any safety rules and making sure to keep you know the muzzle in a safe direction. Sometimes I have to reholster to be able to move and change directions, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Definitely check out her Instagram. You'll see what she's talking about.
I know, Michaela, before you popped on the call, it was cool to see you do such a nice job with demonstrating the sport, but it's really cool to see all that on your Instagram. And
thank you.
Yeah, I'd love to post, if you ever have any videos or anything like that, send them over. I'd love to share them on the Active Project. We don't have nearly enough information about that, so that'd be cool to showcase that.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I just did another match this past weekend. I do a couple a month. I've been doing that for 2 years now, which is really fun.
It's awesome.
In addition to the magazine you guys mentioned, I was also on the She Shield podcast. And we went over everything competition, you know, adaptive defense, personal protection. And I kind of like really dive into the shooting journey and all the stuff there. But yeah, if anybody can reach out to me on Instagram or I can pop my email in there as well for anybody if you're looking for, you know, just personal protection stuff. It's not always gun specific, but I've kind of dove down that rabbit hole because, you know, I probably look like I'm an easy target and I hope the day would never come, but I am definitely not.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Two questions actually. How much are these competitions? And then you seem like you're shooting a lot of ammo. What kind of budget are you spending a month on all the bullets you're using? And do you make your own bullets? I know a lot of people make, or you know, maybe your dad helps you. Your dad's pretty cool, by the way. And yeah, so yeah, like, do you have a kind of a ballpark on what you're spending or what it would cost someone to, you know, archery obviously is you buy a bow, you have your arrows, but bullets are, they add up.
Yeah, that is and you know different ammo depending on the bullet weight grain, the quality of the ammo. I mean, it's something like there's a big spectrum of it. I definitely shoot a lot. I practice a lot as well, but there's also dry fire. So I don't know if, you know, do you guys for archery practice like without arrows ever? Just kind of like, no, just manipulating things. Okay. So for shooting, like some of the best shooters, they dry fire more than they shoot live fire. And basically that's, you know, making sure your gun's clear and everything, of course, for safety purposes. But, you know, you can work on your draw and pulling the trigger and see where your sights are aligning. You can get like scaled down targets or even use a real target. Some people just use like the light switches in their house. And just, you can, you know, do things to like train that will improve when you go and do live fire. So one of the first things I do when I get to the range is I get in dry fire reps until I feel like, okay, I'm doing what I want to do to the standards of what I've set for today. You know, even reloads, you don't have to be shooting real ammunition to kind of train everything. So you can earn your bullets with dry fire. In terms of how much it costs, that's a wide scale.
And archery has a similar, it's not a dry fire, but there's stretch bands and similar exercises that they can do pre-shooting so that they have muscles warmed up and understand the movement, and certainly visualization is a big part of it. And I would imagine, as with several of the archers that compete in several of the archery events, either you and your track chair or moving around, or there's a group that is involved in the Total Archery Challenge, and so there's we're taking wheelchairs up a ski slope and all of those things. But again, it's eye opening, and good on you for being okay with exposing and sharing that sort of, so that the rest of the world can better understand I'm capable. You look at limitations, and I don't have any.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, anybody that wants to get involved, reach out. Happy to answer. I know, David, we've chatted before, so we actually met at a rock climbing event through Waypoint.
Yeah.
And I think that we'll be able to work together and figure out a way for you to shoot. There are, like sip and puff or the things you can bite down on, but all that equipment just adds up. I personally don't have access to it. I've tried to obtain it to be able to help a handful of quads. And I'm still trying to figure some stuff out. I was only able to, through the Spalding air rifle, help one of my friends shoot that way. I had put a laser on the front because he couldn't get his neck. He's a quad, so he couldn't get his neck on the stock to see the sights. So I zeroed this laser so that he could see that projecting onto the target instead. And then they had something someone had modified similar to sip and puff technology. So he had sucked in through that. And then I was holding the rifle and aiming it so that he could engage multiple targets and kind of have fun and get as speedy as he could. It was a great day for that. He had a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that we can make live fire possible safely, of course. But as we all know, adaptive equipment is just so expensive, and that's such a barrier. And many of us end up choosing one sport because of that, even though, like, I'm sure we've all tried multiple things that are phenomenal. Another thing that can be helpful is training tools such as this. So this is from a store called the Grip Keeper, and there's is, ooh, I'm getting too close. So this has springs here, and what you do is when you grip a firearm, you're only using these three fingers to grip it. Oops, sorry, it's blurring it because my background's blurred. But you only actually use these three fingers of your dominant hand. So this has springs. They have different resistance types, sizes, everything. And basically, I would have you figure out your grip placement, your grip pressure. So like what part of your hands and which muscles we want to be applying before I handed you something real, right? And we'd work through that. And then same thing with the trigger pulls. So this is the laser trainer version. And my kitten loves this because it will actually project kind of like a cat laser. But this has a trigger that will actually work. And you pull it, it's a little bit heavier. And then of course that dry fire that I mentioned earlier, right? You'd start with that dry fire. So I wouldn't just hand you something and go ahead and try that. We'd go over, how to position your body, how you should grip it, problem solve all of that stuff. It's not something that I can tell you, here's how you do it. A good instructor tells you options and suggests options and make sure that you're safe, and kind of will have you figure out which techniques you prefer. And that's really kind of, not to say all of it is, but just when it gets down to the basics, I could go on for hours, but.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to reach out to Damon first, because I've done shooting, but where you're on a bench that you can roll under with a rifle and stuff. But I want to try what you're doing, where I'm actually sitting in the chair, and I'll reach out to you on Instagram, Damon, and I got your email, I think, too now. But I want to go in there with the proper brace where I can actually roll in my wheelchair and kind of, try to be you, but only, I'm years behind, but actually shoot a gun from my wheelchair instead of from like, a table basically. Yeah, I can't wait. But I'm gonna reach out to Damon and figure some stuff out. My C7 brother.
To kind of piggyback off of Michaela, I, of course, was doing shooting with Triumph Foundation also, because they wanted to do like a personal protection program and all that. But of course, we know the cost, and especially out here in California. So what I did do sport wise was I was introduced to air rifle, and Move United has a air rifle program. So if you go to Move United, and you can find out where's an air rifle program that's near you, and then that way you can shoot for a whole lot cheaper, if not for free. And then whatever program that you are able to go and compete with, or with them to go shoot. um, I do believe the club that I was with, they were able to actually get a sip and puff system for the air rifle, for the quads who are wasn't able to pull the trigger like I am, and they were able to go ahead and get a grant get a grant through Move United to help with that. So there are programs and things that's out there. You just have to go ahead and find them. And to, of course, answer your question, these arrows, they cost. Especially, they only cost when you shoot past the target or if you break them. I'm waiting for a whole batch of a whole batch of shafts right now to get delivered, so I can make arrows tonight for my Target Nationals event next week.
I will say the air rifle, that's awesome that you tried that. And if you have any information for like helping to obtain or even rent the sip and puff stuff, please send it my way. But
Okay.
you know, I think the air stuff, it's probably easier to find because there's not many people in wheelchairs doing competitions this way. Or like I said, if someone's interested in like Paralympic stuff, like what I do isn't in that. But you know, I think it's good to figure out like, can you pull the trigger? You know, can you hold your arms out for your core strength, or do you have to shoot one-handed? What might you need for assistive technology? It could be great for problem solving, all of that. In terms of shooting it, there's basically no recoil at all on the air, you know, pistol or rifles.
Mhm.
Also, like the grip modules, just from what I tried, like it's totally different. I actually kind of had a hard time with the air pistol, um, and I'm someone that shoots a lot of real pistol. As we've already, as Dave already exposed me to. So yeah, it's very similar. I think there's stuff that overlaps, but it's also different. You know, um, definitely the recoil element to it, I think it can be scary and intimidating for people. But you know, there's different calibers, and it's also kind of, if you're working with an instructor that kind of can coach you and explain to you things, and so that you know like how it functions, what's going to happen, ways to mitigate that. And you know, at the end of the day, like you are shooting a firearm, right? You're going to have some recoil. I wouldn't say that's something that, you know, I wouldn't say that's a reason to not try it if someone's ever concerned disability wise. Like a 22 caliber rifle, you know, set up, propped up, like that's going to have way less recoil than a pistol. That could be a great
Mhm.
place to start, just to kind of get exposed to the sounds, the environment, the safety, everything that way. Or you could start on pistol. I did. So
There is a
First
group
things.
in the Pennsylvania area. It's Roar, and it is a group of outdoors folks that are all quads. And so they have and utilize the sip and puff. They also have mounting brackets for either gun, shotgun, or pistols
nice.
for the chair, and they're really great assets. Mike Hudson is the guy's name that is the principal.
My friend Adriana Malozzi, she actually invented that, the sip and puff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They haven't adapted it, or I haven't seen anybody use it on the archery side. Uh,
What is it? Just to learn.
well, it's
What is it?
it's a triggering that is operated by a sip or a puff, and it will,
Or a bite if people don't have the strength.
or a bite. You are correct, and it just operates the trigger.
Cool.
So Spalding Adaptive Archery and Air Rifle both have the sip and puff, but it was a little bit more finicky when people tried with the archery. I'm from Massachusetts. I forgot to mention my location. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they have
anyone
the
in the New
archery
England
program
area.
located in the North Shore. If anyone's nearby, you guys could check that program out as well.
Yep. Yeah, the air rifle is that way as well. Yep.
Guys, it was so nice, and I know we can chat forever about this kind of stuff because it's awesome to get so many such talented people in one room together. So thank you guys so much for joining. And as Diane said earlier, we do bi-weekly calls, different recreational topics every other week. So it's pretty cool to see such cool communities come together and really share the most needed topics and requests. So thank you guys so much for sharing.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you
all.
all.
It was a great discussion. Thanks, you guys. It's great to
Talk to
see
you
you
soon,
all.
Dave.
Have a
Thanks,
good night,
everybody.
everybody.